Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Animesh, Avni, Adi, Shivanya, Jayaditya, Anshu, Balavrinda, Shivansh, Ridhika, Aradhita, Gauranga, Krishna, Jia, Nihit, Siddhant, Kritik, Sunila.
Wait, Mataji, what's the activity today?
Let's see, I'm not sure. Yogi and Reva, Animesh, Nandan, Pavan, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Pura,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Vihan, Mokshi,
Hare Krishna
Deepesh,
Mataji. Hare Krishna
Sanvi.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I'm so happy to see all of you. So amazing. Did everybody had good lunch? Yeah?
I did not eat my lunch yet.
You
I did not
enjoyed
eat.
the vacation?
Either. I didn't eat my lunch.
Very nice.
Same.
Very nice. Is Bhavya here? Bhavya? Yes.
Yes,
Okay, I'm
Mataji.
going to make you the co-host. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so I had to do the class today. Since next week, I don't know which day. One of the days I may not be able to take the class. So I said, let me take the class today. Okay. So today we're going to discuss chapter 8. We all will sing a little nice kirtan. Okay. Small kirtan, which pleases the Lord. So give me 1 second. Let me pull it up for all of you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. How are you, beta?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. We are going to share the screen. We're going to have a little small kirtan quickly. Everybody can sing with me, okay? The lyrics are here. Can everybody see? Yeah? Right here. These are the lyrics, okay? These are the lyrics. Jaya Radha Madhava
Jaya
Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Krishna Hare
Jaya Radha Krishna
Hare
Rama Rama Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Hare Jaya Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna,
Madan Maharaj, Madan Maharaj, मदन मोहन श्री जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
All little Vaishnav children ki jai. Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hari Bol, you all sang so beautiful. I didn't know you all can sing so beautiful for the pleasure of the Lord. Look at Shrikala, you sang so beautiful. I could hear you. I could hear a lot of more other kids too. But if I speak everyone's name, right now we have 44 kids here. But you all did amazing. I could hear so many beautiful voices. So let me just pull up the chapter quickly. Chapter 8 today. Very, very beautiful chapter based on all Bhakti Yoga. So let's see what is this chapter about. Bhavya, can you highlight me? Spotlight. Okay, meantime, I'll start sharing the slides. There we go. Can everybody see my slides? Can everybody give me a thumbs up if you can see my slide? Very good. Okay. All right, so let's go. Oh, what happened to the screen sharing? Can everybody see my screen? No? Okay, can everybody see now? Perfect. I can also see it. Okay, so the name of this chapter is Attaining the Supreme. How to attain the Supreme Lord. How to become closer to Him. How to always remember Him. And how to go back to the spiritual world. All this comes in this particular chapter. It's a very, very important chapter and very beautiful chapter. So let's see here how many sections are in this chapter. This chapter deals with 4 sections and they are very simple. A lot of stories too in this chapter. Remembering Krishna at death. Remembering Krishna by pure bhakti. Material world versus spiritual world. Supremacy of bhakti in attaining Krishna. Okay, so let's go for the section 1. Remembering Krishna at the time of death. So Arjuna is asking Krishna a simple question in this chapter. How can we remember you at death? Let's discuss this chapter. So now, every time you hear this word death, you all don't need to be worried and scared and depressed that everybody is going to die. No, you all know. We studied the 2nd chapter. Do you all remember? Do you all remember? What did we say? We will never die, right? The soul, because we are not the body, we are the soul. So soul is eternal. Soul never dies, right? But when the body becomes old, soul leaves the body and enters the new body. So will we ever die? Will we ever die? No. We might be changing bodies, but the soul never dies. So now Arjuna inquired, "O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman?" What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? Shh, Garima is echoing. And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. So Krishna replies his answers, but one of the answer, one of the question also Arjuna has: how can we remember you at death? So let's discuss how it happens. We just discuss first verse. Then Krishna actually, Arjuna also asking Krishna, who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body? O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Okay, we all are performing devotional service, but then how will we remember you? How will we know you at the time of death? So the Lord said, what did Lord said? Of course, Lord replied all other questions also, but we will directly come to this main question here, where the question is remembering Krishna at death. So we'll first unmute everybody and we will recite this verse. It's a very, very important verse in this chapter. Okay? Antakale cha mameva
कलेवरम
यः प्रयाति
भावम् संशयः.
What does this verse mean? Let's discuss. What does this verse mean? Everybody can be muted. Krishna is telling Arjuna, and whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. Krishna is saying, do not have any doubt. Whoever is about to leave his body, and while leaving his body, if he remembers me alone, he attains my nature, means he comes back to me. He comes back to spiritual world. He never takes another birth. Amazing, right? It's so simple. We find it difficult, but it's actually very simple. So let's understand this by a beautiful story. Okay. Vritrasura. We discussed a little bit about him. So Vritrasura was in his previous life. Actually, he was a Chitraketu Maharaj. Do you remember? Yesterday I told you a story where Chitraketu was cursed by Mother Parvati to become a demon. And he comes on the earth. He gets the body of a demon, and the name of that demon is Vritrasura. But his heart is of a devotee, because Chitraketu, he is actually a devotee of Lord Sankarshan. So we also discussed in last 2-3 chapters that whoever performs any kind of yoga to Krishna, right? Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Dhyana yoga, Bhakti yoga, there's no loss in this path, right? And they will continue from there. So here Vritrasura, he appears as a demon, and he fights with demigods and Indra. So what happened was Vritrasura was very strong. He started breaking all the weapons by all the devatas. So all the devatas got scared. Devatas said, my goodness, how are we going to kill this big old giant demon? He's so powerful. So there are 2 stories related to this. There are 2 stories related to this. I'll tell you. First one, Indra had to kill Vritrasura by a thunderbolt. Okay, thunderbolt was like a vraja. It's like a very strong weapon made from I'll tell you what it is made from, but it's a very strong weapon. It took Indra 1 year to cut his body, to kill him, because he was so giant and heavy that it took Indra such a long time to cut his body, cut his, So while Vritrasura was being cut, he did not feel any pain. He did not even realize that he's being killed. Why? Because he was thinking of Krishna. He was completely absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. That's called as a remembrance. He left his body. Now you can see in this picture, this thunderbolt is striking the lightning. It's a very, very strong weapon. And the second story connected with the same part, I'll tell you. What happened, all these devatas, when they saw that they cannot kill Vritrasura, now what to do? How do we kill this demon? They all folded their hands and went to Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu said, yes, Vritrasura can be killed, but in order to kill him, you have to go to Dadichi Muni. Dadichi Muni is a very pious and very austere sage. So you go to Dadichi Muni and ask him to give you his bones. So and then Lord Vishnu told all the demigods, the devatas, that don't worry, he will happily give you. So don't worry, you just go and tell him. So all the devatas goes to Dadichi Muni. And they told Dadichi Muni, we have a problem. We have to kill this demon Vritrasura. And we went to Lord Vishnu and he said, we need your bones. So Dadichi Muni, he's saying, oh, you want my bones? So that means in order to do that, you have to kill me, right? Then only you can get my bones. How will you take out bones from my body? So Devata said, yes. So Dadichi Muni agreed. Dadichi Muni knew that it's a service to Krishna. Lord Krishna needs my bone to make a very powerful weapon, thunderbolt, to kill Vritrasura. And for that, this is a service. So he happily agreed. So when devatas were cutting the body of Dadichi Muni to take out his bones or, to collect the bones from his body, Dadichi Muni did not even know. He was not at all affected. Why he was not at all affected? Why? We get a little hurt, right? We poke a needle in our finger, or if we are cutting vegetable, helping mommy, right? We cut our finger. How much we cry, right? Ma, I need band-aid, is bleeding, is hurting. 2-3 days our mind is on that little cut, right? Isn't it? But here, the whole bodies are being cut. They are not affected. How? How is that possible? Because they are completely absorbed in thinking of Krishna. While they are leaving their body, they are constantly thinking about Krishna. They are absorbed. That's how one should leave the body. Doesn't matter. And one should not think, oh, Krishna is so cruel. He told devatas to go and kill Dadichi Muni and collect his bones. Krishna is so cruel. No, Krishna wanted to call Dadichi Muni back to the spiritual world. So we should not think other way around, right? Krishna has different plans. Sometimes we don't know what plan Krishna has. But pure devotees, they understand, right? They just want to serve Krishna, right? Anything they have in their possession, they want to use it in service of Krishna. That's how amazing pure devotees are. Yesterday we discussed, right? Manushyanam sahasareshu kashchid yatati siddhaye. So out of millions and millions, right? Only one try to achieve perfection. And out of those, one try to understand the truth. So here, Vritrasura and Dadichi Muni, they both give up their body. But they, to you all, it may seem like, oh, but they died. No, their body died, we can say that. But their soul came out and it went back to spiritual world. You see here, when Indra is killing Vritrasura, if you all look at the picture properly, do you see all the devatas here? The devatas are actually showering flowers on Vritrasura. They are singing on the kettle drums and playing kartals, and apsaras are dancing, because Vritrasura is a pure devotee of the Lord. He has a body of a demon, but he is a devotee of the Lord. So then we go next very beautiful verse, chapter 8, verse 6. Let's unmute everybody and recite. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam.
Yam yam
Yam
va
yam vapi smaram bhavam
Tatyajyante kalevaram. Tam evaiti vadeya. Very good. Good job, all of you. So what does this verse mean? Chapter 8, verse 6. Krishna is telling Arjuna, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. So, what is the general law of destination after death? When a person is leaving his body, and if he's thinking about his pet dog, oh, what will happen to this dog after me? Who will take care of me? Oh no, my little dog will cry without me. What will happen next life to him? He will become a dog. Whatever they are thinking while leaving their body, that's what they become. That's the law of last thought. Do you all remember we discussed this story, Bharat Maharaj? Remember? Should I tell again? Bharat Maharaj was a great king, right? Shh. Give me 1 second. So Bharat Maharaj was a great king. He left his house, he left his kingdom, he left his sons, he left his wife. He wanted to go in the forest and practice devotional service, right? He became a sadhu. But what happened one day? Do you all remember the story? That there was a deer who was pregnant and she heard the roaring of the lion and she was trying to cross the river. So when she took a long jump, what happened? Because she was pregnant, the baby fell down from her body and the mother deer died. And when Bharat Maharaj saw that, he felt very pity. He said, oh no, this little deer has no one in this forest and someone has to take care of him. His mother died. Now who will watch him? Who will feed him? Who will protect him from all the ferocious animals in the forest? And like that, slow by slow, he became engaged in taking care of the deer. And he completely forgot his spiritual duties. Whatever he used to do, maybe chanting, maybe remembering the Lord, maybe doing artis, or maybe performing sacrifices, everything slow by slow, he completely forgot and his mind was completely focused on deer. Even if one day deer is not there and if he's performing sacrifice, he would think, oh no, some ferocious animal will come and eat him. What will happen to him? I have to take care of him. So his mind was in deer all the time. And then one day when he was about to leave his body and deer was not around, he was constantly thinking of deer. Such a great devotee of the Lord, but he's not thinking of Krishna. He's thinking of deer. And then what happens to him next life? He becomes a deer. And we discussed, right? Then even though he got a life of a deer, but he remembered what mistakes he did in his last life. And he always focused his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Then when he left the body of the deer, he became Jad Bharat. Do you all remember? Yesterday we discussed the story of Kali Mata protecting Jad Bharat, right? And after that, in that lifetime, the Jad Bharat lifetime, finally he remembers Krishna and then he goes back. So we'll discuss a little bit more about Jad Bharat today. But the point is law of last thought, right? We should always remember Krishna. So this is what our next verse talks about. Chapter 8, verse 7. Can everybody be unmuted? Tasmat sarvesham सर्वेषु कालेषु
तस्मात्
स्मर्य च मय्यर्पितमनो मामे वैश्यस्य संशयः.
मे वैश्यस्य संशयः.
Very good. You are amazing. You all sing so beautiful. So what is Krishna saying in next words? These three verses are in continuity. Verse 5, 6, and then 7. Okay, let's see. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, therefore, Arjuna, listen, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Such a beautiful verse. What is Krishna telling Arjuna? Krishna is not saying, okay, so now since you have to remember me at the time of death, so all the kids, you should not go to school from tomorrow. Okay, you should not play. You should not do anything. Right? And he's telling Arjuna, Arjuna, you should also not fight. Is that what Krishna is telling Arjuna? No. Krishna is telling Arjuna, do your duty. You all also go to school, study, become smart, become intelligent, but always think of Krishna. Right? Before you go to school, sing the Mahamantra and then go. Anything wrong happens in your day in school, say, oh Krishna, please help me. Oh Krishna, when you go to temple, when you see Krishna, say, Krishna, I belong to you. There is a Sanskrit verse. It's called as Tava Asmi. Tava Asmi means I belong to you. Right? Always remember Krishna. In your backpack, always carry a small Bhagavad Gita. Every day, recite one verse of Bhagavad Gita. Then you go to school. Right? So that way, you do your duty. But at the same time, you remember Krishna. Right? So that's what Krishna is telling Arjuna. You fight, do your duty, but your mind and intelligence, the buddhi, should be fixed on me. Your activities you should dedicate to me. Right? When you fall down in the school, okay, I'll give you all this example later. Let's go further. So here, if you all see this beautiful verse, he is Srila Prabhupada. He's the founder, Acharya of ISKCON movement. Abhay Charanarvind AC Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is leaving his body here in this picture. These are his last moments before he left his body. And what is he doing? If you look at it properly, the devotee here, he's holding the dictaphone. And Srila Prabhupada is speaking, he's giving a lecture, class on Srimad Bhagavatam. He's about to leave his body, but he does not have any other thoughts except giving a class on Srimad Bhagavatam. Such a beautiful way of leaving his body. Srila Prabhupada taught us that how we all can leave our body by remembering Krishna. Even in this picture, right? Ajamil. Did we discuss this part? Yes. Did we discuss this story before? Does anybody know? I don't remember if we discussed this or not. Can everybody give me thumbs up or thumbs down if I have discussed this story before? I want to see. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay, some are showing thumbs up. Okay, yes, I see a lot of kids showing thumbs up, but few are showing thumbs down. So those who don't know the story, I will just have a quick recap of this story. So you see here in Ajamil, this is the old body lying on the bed, Ajamil, right? He lived a very sinful life, but before he became a sinful life, he was the son of a Brahmana. And he performed some bhakti yoga to Lord. But after he met some lady, and due to her bad association, he started living a very sinful life. But one good thing they did was that Ajamil had 11 children, and he named his youngest child Narayan. He was very small, but Ajamil loved him. and he named him Narayan. So when it was time for Ajamil to leave his body, he became old because he lived a sinful life. All you see here, scary, very, very scary. Yamadutas come and they start, they put a rope in his neck, in the neck of his soul, and they start pulling out the soul from the body of the Ajamil. And immediately Ajamil calls out his son. But what is the name of his son? Narayan, right? So he said, Narayan, please help me. Narayan, come. Actually, he had a lot of affection for his younger child, Narayan. He used to call him, Narayan, come, let me feed you. Narayan, give me a hug. Narayan, what are you doing? Narayan, come. So whole day he used to call Narayan, but indirectly he was calling the names of the Lord, because Narayan is the name of the Lord. And because of that, Krishna immediately sent his 4 Vishnu Duta. You see here, these are all Vishnu Duta who are 4-armed. They have blue color. You know, in Vaikuntha planet, all the jivas like us, when they become pure, they go back to Vaikuntha planet. They all get 4-armed form. And they all get Krishna's blue color. Krishna is so merciful that he gives them his own color and he gives them a form like himself. So all these Vishnu Dutas go, immediately they tell Yamduta, do not touch his body. Stop, stop. You see how their hands are, right? They are showing him the sword. Stay away. Keep back, keep back. He's the devotee of the Lord. He chanted the names of Narayan. How can you touch his soul? Leave him alone. And then Ajamil understands everything, that he need to stop living a sinful life. And then after seeing and hearing all this conversation between Yamadutas and Vishnu Duta, Ajamil goes to Haridwar, he performs his bhakti, and he goes back to spiritual world. But see, here also, this verse is actually from Srimad Bhagavatam, not from Bhagavad Gita. But here also we see at the end of the life, he is remembering the Lord. So, okay, let's recite this verse. Okay, can everybody unmute? Abhyasa yoga yuktena Very good. Good job, all of you. So, what is Krishna is telling Arjuna in verse 8? He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path. He, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So Krishna is giving guarantee, right? When you go to some store in India and then they try to sell some cloth, something to your mommy or daddy, and have you heard how they say, oh, I can give you in writing, you know, I give you guarantee this particular fabric will not release any color, you know, I vouch for it, I give you guarantee, right? And then we feel comfortable and then we buy that outfit or cloth or dress and then we bring it, right? Similarly, Krishna is giving guarantee here. Imagine how amazing it is. Lord himself is saying that, listen, Arjuna, if somebody meditates on me as Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's always remembering me. He's always thinking of me. Oh, Partha, he will definitely come back to me. How many of you wants to go back to Krishna and play with him? How many of you? Let me see how many hands are raised. Definitely, I want to go. I want to go and play with Krishna, with the cows and with the cowherd boys, and have a picnic every day and eat laddus, gulab jamun and rasgullas every day. And I want to have a lot of fun. So everybody here wants to go back to Krishna, I see. So amazing. So may Krishna fulfill all of your desires. May you all become pure devotee in this lifetime and go back to Krishna. Krishna will definitely arrange. Krishna is so kind. So now so what Krishna is telling Arjuna, Krishna gave this guarantee, right? Now let's see here. Who always thinks of Krishna all the time? Gopis. Gopis are always, they are pure devotees. They are always thinking of Krishna. In any circumstances, Gopis are always thinking of Krishna, whether they are filling up the pot from Yamuna river, whether we are making garland, whether they are doing house chores, whether they are getting their children ready, whether they are churning the butter, no matter what they are doing, they are always thinking of Krishna. Even when Gopis are talking to each other, they are thinking of Krishna. They are talking about Krishna. So now the question arises, how do we remember Krishna? How do we remember Krishna? Remembering Krishna by pure bhakti. Right now, okay, we discussed that at the end of the life, when we are quitting the body, we have to remember Krishna. Fine. Okay. But now the question arises, how do we remember Krishna? Right? How? By performing pure bhakti. So let's see here. Can everybody be unmuted? Ananya chetah satatam. Om smarati asyaham sulabah partha nitya yuktasya Okay, so what is Krishna telling Arjuna here? For one who always remembers me without deviation, I'm easy to obtain. O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. If someone is constantly engaged in devotional service, for him, I'm very easy to obtain. That devotee will easily attain me because he's always remembering. See, some devotees, they are devotees of Lord Nrsimhadev. They love Lord Nrsimhadev. So they are constantly thinking of Lord Nrsimha. They are always meditating on the pastimes of Lord Nrsimha. So they will definitely go back to Lord Nrsimha. Somebody is a devotee of Lord Ram. They are constantly reading Ramayana, hearing Ramayana, every day talking about Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Hanuman. Right? So Krishna is saying, yes, he will definitely attain me. Okay. So now there is still a question. How do we practice thinking of Krishna constantly? Right? Constantly. How do we think? So Krishna replies very beautifully here in Bhagavad Gita. What does he say? Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam. So how do we remember? See, Smaranam means remembering. Smaranam means remembering. So remembering comes when? It comes from chanting. But chanting comes from where? From hearing. What does it mean? It means let's hear. What are you all doing right now? You all are sacrificing your time. You're not playing with your friends. You're not doing something, maybe making art and craft or watching a movie or doing something or playing with your sibling. You're not doing all that, right? What are you all doing? You are engaging your ears in hearing Bhagavad Gita. And what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is the song of God. You all are hearing about Krishna, right? We are discussing so many stories about Krishna. So when we hear about Krishna, we can speak about Krishna. Okay? You know what is your homework for today? Do you all know what is your homework? No? So you have Saturday, Sunday off, right? Saturday, Sunday, you might be meeting your friends. You have to tell at least one story on Saturday and one story on Sunday to any of your friends, neighbor, or anybody who you meet. Can we all do that? Can we speak a little bit about Krishna to somebody and tell them, and especially the people who don't know anything about Krishna? Can you make your friends chant one time? Yes. Can you make them chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra one time? Yes. Perfect. I see Jayaditya is giving me thumbs up. I see Adya is giving me thumbs up. Who else is going to do it? Tanishka is positive. Yeah, Krishna already did it. Vihan is showing me yes. Adya and Palvit, Riyansh, you all are saying yes, yes, we can do it. We can tell one little story to our friends or to neighbor or to anybody who we meet at grocery place. Right? Vasudha is saying yes, she will definitely do it. So how can we speak about Krishna when we don't hear? Little Shrikala is also saying. So all the kids, yes, I see Gautam Krishna, I see Vihan, Yogi, Reva, so many kids. They all are saying yes. They can speak about Krishna. Yes, Amaya. Amaya will do it. Amaya will tell a little story about Krishna to somebody. Yes. Now, if you all don't know the story, how will you speak about Krishna? Is it possible? No. So in order to tell somebody, you have to first hear, right? Right? So what should we do? Every day, we should either hear about Krishna on online lectures or like how you are attending now, or you can read about Krishna. You know, there are wonderful books, 4 volumes of Krishna. Even those have all the stories of Krishna. Can you get me the 4-volume Krishna book? So I'll show you. There is a book. If you don't have it, you can get it. But it has all the beautiful pictures of Krishna. You can speak about Krishna from that. Sorry. So, and then when we speak about Krishna, you know what happens? We remember that. This is how you remember. But if you don't speak, you don't hear, how will you remember about Krishna? Right? So you all understand how do we remember? First we hear, we read, and then we speak. And then we will always remember. Okay. Now remembering can be of 2 types, right? For Krishna. We can remember Krishna by love and devotion. And we can remember Krishna like a demon. Okay, everybody can be unmuted. How do we want to remember Krishna? Like Ravana and Kamsa and Hiranyakashipu, or like Shabari and Prahalad and Dhruva Maharaj? What would you all reply? Yes. Nobody wants to remember Krishna like Kamsa and Shishupal, right? That remembrance is actually a negative remembrance. Okay, so this is the set I was going to show you. If all of you do not have this, do you all see this? My kids read it almost every day, almost on daily basis. I also love to read them stories from this. This is a beautiful set of 4 books. And this is all simple pastimes of Krishna. See here, wherever, whichever city you all are, you all can go to ISKCON temple and get it, or else you can contact me and we can work something out. But you all see here, beautiful stories of Krishna. Okay. Feel free to go to any ISKCON temple nearby your house, and whichever city. Some kids here are from Dallas, some are from Augusta, some are from Tennessee, some are from Atlanta, and you can get this set for yourself. So now in this picture, let's look at it. Now here, Krishna is killing Kamsa. Does everybody know the story of Kamsa? Does everybody know? Yes. You know, Kamsa had a sister, and his sister name was Devaki. Okay. And Devaki was married to Vasudeva. So when Kamsa was driving his chariot, there was a big Akashvani, means there was like a forecasting in the sky. And it said that the 8th child of Devaki will kill you. And Kamsa got scared. Kamsa said, oh my goodness, I'm going to die, because he has a demoniac mentality. He don't want to die. So he's like, oh, 8th child of Devaki will kill me. So might as well let me kill Devaki herself. If she is not there, no children will be born, and then I will be immortal. I'll be alive all my life. So imagine he is ready to kill his own sister. Can anybody do that? Only demons can do that, right? We're supposed to love our sister. We're supposed to take care of our sister. But Kamsa is so demoniac because he wants to become the king and he thinks, oh, I'm so strong, I'm so powerful, nobody will ever be able to kill me. So he wants to kill Devaki. But then Devaki's husband, he promises to Krishna, not Krishna, the Kamsa, that I will give you all the children, all 8 children, and then you decide whatever you want to do. But give it to daddy. AHS. So give me 1 second. Oh, I declined. Okay. So Kamsa actually killed all the 6 babies of Devi, newborn babies. And 7th child was Balaram, right? Which was transferred from her womb to Rohini's womb. And the 8th child was Krishna. So it was already Akashvani that Krishna will kill Kamsa. But all these years until he left his body, all this time, Kamsa always 24 hours and 7 days, he always was thinking about Krishna. But what kind of thinking was that? That was a negative thinking. He was fearful. He was envious. He had all the negative thinking. So we don't want to develop that negative thinking for Kamsa. Similarly, Shishupal. Do you all see here Shishupal? It's a long story. We won't go in the story of Shishupal. But Shishupal, Krishna promised Shishupal's mother that I will forgive his 100 mistakes. Means every time Shishupal curses or uses bad language for Krishna, 100 times is forgiven. But after 100, I cannot protect him. So in the assembly of all the kings and big people, Shishupal is actually cursing Krishna so much. And Krishna is tolerating. Krishna is, he's so merciful. But of course, after the 100th one, Krishna sent his Sudarshan Chakra and he killed Shishupal. It's a long story. You all can read or hear sometime. But we don't want to have that kind of thinking, right? And leave the body. Now, these demons actually did not go to hellish planets. They actually went to Brahmajyoti. Because they were killed by Krishna, they were liberated. Imagine, if Krishna is so kind and merciful to these envious people, what to talk about us? What to talk about the devotees who don't think negative about Krishna? Rather, they want to worship Krishna with love and devotion. That's the mindset we want to have. Give me 1 second. So, let's unmute everybody and discuss this verse. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkham shashvatam napnuvanti bhagavanah Very good. So before we discuss these words, I want to discuss something nice with you all. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see if I missed out something. Yeah. Okay. So, I want to ask you all a question. When you go evening in your neighborhood and play with your friends, and you're playing ball, playing basketball, soccer, or something, and you fall down, you scrape your knee. As soon as you fall down, what do you do? What do you do? Can everybody type in their chat box? Who do they call immediately? I want to hear. I want to hear immediate response, okay? So imagine you just fell down, okay? And you started bleeding. Yes, definitely you will cry, but who do you call immediately? I hear a lot of replies here. You guys are very fast. My mom and dad, somebody said Krishna, somebody said the Adit, somebody said Om, somebody says mom and dad. I get up and keep on playing. Very strong, Tanishka. I tell my friends to call my parents mom, and everybody is mostly writing mom, right? Yes. Even when I was little, when every time I would fall down, I would say, Mommy. That's how I would scream. Right? Do you all scream like that? Right? Whatever you call, Amma, Mama, right? But when I was young, that's how I used to cry. I would immediately cry. I would say, Mommy, right? Even my dad, I would remember him later. But first thing I would remember my mom, right? How I'm remembering my mom in my pain and misery? How? Because I know I'm so much dependent on my mother. I love her, and she will come and she'll take care of me. And I have practice to remember my mom, right? So how do we remember Krishna throughout our life? How? That's a question, right? Do you all want to hear a story? Yes? Okay. One time there was a king, okay? And he had a very, I would say, very intelligent minister. Okay, so one time a linguist came to the kingdom. Linguist means the one who speak many languages. So a linguist came to the king, and the linguist said, see, I speak many languages. Now you saying, he's telling king, I've heard your minister is very intelligent, but I will believe he is intelligent only if he can tell me what is my mother tongue. Because he speaks a lot of languages. So how do we know what is his mother tongue? So king speaks to him in different languages, and whatever language king speaks, the linguist replies in the same language. And linguist, nobody in the whole assembly can figure out what is his language, because he speaks so many language. So how do we know what is the mother tongue? So minister was also thinking, okay, I have to figure out what is his mother tongue. So king looks at the minister looks at the king, and then they kind of talk with each other. And then king tells the linguist, okay, give us 1 day. By tomorrow morning, we will tell you what is your mother tongue. So linguist said, okay. Linguist goes back, he eats his dinner at night, and then he goes back to sleep. Okay. In the morning, what happens? The minister had arranged some soldiers or some people from the kingdom, and they were told that throw very cold water on this minister's face. Splash very hard, right? When you all jump in the water park, how do you feel very first time? Right? You immediately say, Mama, it's too cold, right? Do you all say that? Right? First time, right? See, once you go in the water, you get used to playing in the water park, right? But very first time when you put your whole body, immediately you jump. How do you feel? Even if it's summer, you feel cold, right? So this linguist is sleeping, and he was, a bucket of water was poured on him. And he immediately, he gets scared, he gets shocked, and he starts cursing, and he starts speaking in a language. Okay. And then minister says, your language is Telugu. And minister says, how do you know? I mean, the linguist says, how do you know? He says, when we are in the pain and misery, what we take shelter of, or what we are accustomed to, what we are used to, that's what we will speak. That's what we will take the shelter of. Right? How we are experienced, how we have so much of habit of calling our mama, right? Not at a young age. Even I grew up, I was in college, I was still, mommy, right? That's how I used to be. But then slow by slow, when I tried to became devotee, then devotees taught me that any mishap happens in our life, we should call Krishna, right? Suppose I'm pulling out a gallon of milk from the fridge. Okay, let's take an example that that Nandana is pulling out something from fridge. Okay, and she drops everything. She drops that whole part of sabji or something on the floor, right? What would you do? For now, you will call your mommy, right? Mommy, right, Nandana, right?
Yes.
But then slow by slow, if we practice our mind, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, any mishap happens or even any good things happen in our life, and suppose now your schools are going to start, right, and your mommy is going to take you out shopping, right? Okay, let's go, let's buy school supplies, let's buy backpack, let's buy water bottle, let's buy books, let's buy clothes, right? It's very easy to bring everything home and then start using, right? But it's very ungrateful. It's very ungrateful, because all that came from where? Of course, your mommy and daddy bought, right? But all that came from Krishna. Krishna is the source. So when you buy all of that, take everything to your puja room. Offer, just keep it there for 2 minutes and say, Krishna, thank you. Of course, you say thank you to your mom and dad too, because they worked hard to buy you all that. But at the same time, you say thank you to Krishna. So you're offering it back to Krishna. Okay, you're saying you're being grateful. So we are remembering Krishna at good times, and at the bad times also we remembering Krishna. When you fall down, right, or when something wrong happens, say, oh Krishna, and imagine Krishna will be standing next to you. Isn't that amazing? Do you think when you call your mommy, mommy comes, but when you call Krishna, Krishna don't come? Krishna comes. As soon as you call the names of the God, he's standing next to you. It's amazing. Give me 1 second, okay? Sorry about that. I had something to attend urgently. So, yeah, what I was saying. Yeah, so we should always remember Krishna, right? By whatever we get, say thank you. Whatever, anything happens, slow by slow, we can say, have you all seen in the school when something wrong happens, they speak bad words in the school? Have you all noticed that? I'm sure everybody would agree, right? I don't want to say it because I don't like to speak all these bad words. But anything they drop, they do something, they draw wrong, they get bad grades, and they use the curse words, right? In the school. We should not do that. We should just remember Krishna. Okay. So now this verse, temporary and miserable world. What does this verse say? Let's discuss this. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam na shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramam gatim. So what does this verse mean? After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, because this temporary world is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So once they go back to the spiritual world, they don't come back. Okay, let's go next verse. Bhavya, can you make everybody help recite this verse?
Sure, Mataji. Abrahma Bhuvanalokam
You can start and Mama Vijayanti Janana Vidyate
Very good.
Ada
Good job.
Vidyate
Good job, all of you. So, what does this verse mean? Let's discuss. Krishna is saying, Arjuna, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest planet, all the planets, they are places of misery where there is repeated birth and death take place. But one who comes to my planet, my abode, O son of Kunti, O Arjuna, he never takes birth again. So if you go in this particular next page, can you all see this picture? This picture shows 14 planetary system. Can you all see here, right here where my mouse is? This is Earth planet. This is where we are right now, Bhuvarloka. Okay. If you go up, there is, so we are on Bhuloka, Earth planet. Above that is Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. Okay. These are higher planets. And below the Earth, there is lower planets. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. Okay. From lower planet to middle planet to higher planet. All these planetary system. If one takes birth anywhere, they have to take, if one takes birth anywhere, they have to die. Again, they have to take birth. Again, they have to die. And it's a repeated cycle. Okay. But by chanting this Maha Mantra, do you all see Hare Krishna Maha Mantra here? Can you all see? You see here, where is my mouse? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One goes to the spiritual world, to Krishna's place, where there is no birth, there is no death, and they will eternally stay there. Amazing, right? This is what Krishna is telling in verse 16. So Krishna is saying there is rebirth in all planets of material universe. If you look at this picture, this is Mahavishnu. When Mahavishnu is breathing out, what happens from his pores? All the universes are coming out, right? And Krishna is saying there is no rebirth when we go to Krishna's abode. Now there is a comparison, material world versus spiritual world, the third section of this chapter. So, give me 1 second. So this is I don't know how easy it is for you all to understand, but there is a beautiful description of Brahma's one day in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, verse 17. Okay. What is said? That the duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpa. One kalpa is actually a day of Brahma. And one day of Brahma makes 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas. Right? And how many yugas we have? How many yugas we have? 4. Satya Yoga, Treta Yoga, Dwapar Yoga, and Kali Yoga. Okay. So there is a whole details given in this particular verse. What is Brahma's one day and everything. So in short, the material world is not like it always stays. Material world also gets annihilated. It gets destroyed. Even Brahma's life, Brahma has an end. Manifest and unmanifest states of material universes. So what Krishna is telling Arjuna here, that if you look at this picture, Krishna is the one who manifests and then he unmanifests. That means when he breathes in, all the universes goes back in the body. When he's breathed out, all the universes appear. When we say Krishna is the cause of causes, that means Krishna maintains, Krishna manifests, and Krishna takes away. Takes away means these material universes go back in Krishna's body again. I mean, Mahavishnu's, right? It's a different. You will, when you go a little deeper in Bhagavad Gita, you'll understand there are different expansions of Lord Vishnu, and you will hear. Maybe let me see if I can explain you all through the picture. Okay, so if you all look at it, he is Mahavishnu. Okay, Mahavishnu lies down on the causal ocean, and from his pores, from his body, all the universes comes out. Now, this is the picture of one universe. Then he expands further to become Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Brahma comes. Brahma comes and he sits on the lotus, and that lotus stem comes from the navel of Lord Vishnu. And then when Brahma creates the whole universe, again Mahavishnu, I mean Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Mahavishnu expands, and then he becomes a Paramatma in every soul's heart. So what happens in spiritual world? Here we discuss material world, right? And here if we discuss about spiritual world, Krishna's Nitya Leelas are happening. Means it's an eternal place. Whoever goes back, there is they don't come back to any planetary system again. When a soul goes back to Krishna, the soul is always engaged in service of Krishna. The soul is always having a different rasas, different relationship with Krishna, and it's very beautiful to be in spiritual world. So, and in spiritual world, what happens? Nitya Leela happens. Means Krishna is always engaged in his pastimes with his devotees. Very, very beautiful if you know more. So here we will discuss this words. Can everybody be unmuted? Avyaktokshara ityuktas Tamahu
Papam Nanivartante. Mama.
Very good. You all did amazing. Good job. Give me 1 second. Can you all see my screen? Somehow I lost my screen.
Yes, Mataji.
Can you see my screen? Yes?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, give me 1 second. Somehow I cannot see my screen. Give me a second. Something happened. I cannot see. Wait. Okay, so what does this verse mean? That which is Vedantis describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. So Krishna is saying the place from where nobody ever returns. That place is my supreme abode. Okay. So that's how the spiritual world is. And we discussed the Nitya Leela, and this is the last section of the chapter, supremacy of bhakti in attaining Krishna. We can attain Krishna's abode by Ananya Bhakti. Only by performing devotional service we can attain Krishna's abode. Let's recite this verse. Can everybody unmute? Vedeshu yagyeshu tapasu chaiva Daneshu yajnanya phalam pradishtam Adyeti tajivamidam vidya Yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Very good, all of you. So what is Krishna telling in this verse? So what is Krishna telling in this verse? So this is our last verse of today. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results deriving from the studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitful activities. So simply just by performing bhakti yoga, devotional service, a person attains all the results of Vedas, sacrifices, austerity, giving charity. And at the end, he reaches to the supreme eternal abode. So what is more important? Doing charity, doing austerity, reading Vedas, performing sacrifices? No, just perform devotional service. Just remember Krishna. That's it. And then one can go back to the spiritual world. And we discussed how Bharat Maharaj, Vritasura, Dadichi Muni, they all went back to the spiritual world. So here we end the chapter. Thank you all so much. What we will do today, we will not do any activity. I have to catch up few things. So we will meet again. Call, your phone is ringing. So give me 1 second. Okay, so we will end the class.